My overtrading state of mind really hurt me today. I lost so many good opportunities on Meta. It was really challenging to keep aware of the opportunities when I was taking so many bad trades, going against my trading plan and breaking my rules. So many times I couldn't even keep count. So there's some kind of psychological thing going on I have to overcome, obviously. But we have it all written down. We have the goals set. All I got to do is follow them, and that's the problem. Here's one trade that I wish I stayed in. The pintails here, it looked like it was closing under the 8, changing direction on the 5-minute chart. And over here on the 1-minute chart, you see that area where it tried to sell off. We're always looking for it to break the 820 and 50, and it's closed below all three of them only once right here. It slowly made higher highs, higher lows. I was looking at that, and I got long as soon as it broke that trend line. As soon as it broke this trend line right here, I got long. Closed it too fast. I closed it when it came down here. I just couldn't bear another loss. I had so many losses, and so the losses compiled into emotional irrationality, because this whole thing is just bullish as can be. I'd still be in it right now if I had continued to hold that trade. I just wanted to record this failure here just to notice that, there was a point right here when this was coming down. I said, it's at the highs of the day. It can't hold. It's coming down. I thought it was going to push right past there, and my stop was under this green candle. All I had to do was endure that a little more, and it would have been all good. So I just want to point that out, that next time I'm in a situation, first of all, if I was not over trading and I was taking one good trade, if I was waiting for one good setup, that would have been it. The trend line break right here, as it's testing these moving average areas, as it's closing back above, pin-tailing here on the 5-minute chart, the trend line break, that small stop loss on that candle right there at 476.82. Here's the trend line break. 476.82 is all I was risking right here. It never came down there. It's all I was risking, a little tiny bit. That's a perfect trade setup. 2 tries, 3 tries to sell, but break out, stop even under this last pivot, because it's been making higher lows. All I had to do was keep my stop under one of these lows here. But the problem is, once the mind gets discombobulated, it can't think clearly. And it got discombobulated because for the last 48 hours even, I have been trading recklessly, not following any rules whatsoever. So that stops now. Starting next week, Monday, I'm going to trade perfect trade setups, Lord willing, and I'm going to follow my plan to the T. Or I might as well face the facts that I won't be able to do this professionally. Starting next week, Monday, perfect trade setups and following my plan perfectly. Okay, let's look at the beginning reason I was shorting a stock that's gapping up 20%. It started to break below the pre-market highs, barely one time. 1 minute, came back up. That's where I should have stopped out. It broke the market structure to the downside. It was coming down, and the first 2-minute candle or minute candle, first 2-minute candle right here, 2-minute candle was red. And I said, this thing's going to keep going down. The very next candle started going down. I shorted, came back up, created a doji. As soon as it went over that doji, I should have bailed on this trade immediately instead of stopping out at where? The high of pre-market. That's too far. And I want to make a note that I have been doing that lately. I'm putting my stop way too far out on these kinds of trades. A breakout of the high pre-market level and the breakout of the low pre-market levels. Lately, I've noticed that I am putting my stops too far away. When it doesn't go through, I need to get out. I need to get out. That's all there is to it. If it doesn't go through, I need to get out. So that's something I want to point out in this video too. I didn't stop out when I was supposed to, how to recognize a failed breakout. And this is one to the downside. But get out fast. Get out of the situation fast. Okay? Same thing happened on Apple. Here's the pre-market level right here on the low of Apple, and here's the pre-market high. I had my stops way up here. This is where I stopped out. But in this case, Apple's first 2-minute candle was very strong. It barely ticked under. And I should have got out right here when it started going over that 2-minute candle. I got in on the pre-market. I don't have a problem with that necessarily, but I should have gotten out right here. The Apple had a day where it was gapping way down under some support. So I didn't have a problem shorting Apple. I did note that there was a trend line down here. Trend line resistance could be a problem. And this happens to me before, and I said I wasn't going to do that. So let's make a note on this, that I cannot short when there's a trend line or moving average present. I did a moving average one the other day, and there was a moving average there, and it bounced off the moving average. If there's room for it to go down, take it. And especially if it's bouncing and it creates a 2-minute bullish, powerful candle off of the trend line on the daily, that should have been enough for me to say, get out of this short now. Get out of this short now. All right? So Apple and Meta both got me when I should have gotten out much, much earlier. And I probably shouldn't even have shorted either one of them, because Meta's gapping up 20%, and Apple is bouncing off a trend line. You can't short those kinds of markets. So I need to really, really learn that right now. Okay, let's get this down in my video. Let's get this down in my mind. Let's get this down in my notes, my journal, pictures, and let's digest this as knowledge and experience, and learn to develop skills accordingly.